The saying of our sage is that you can walk on water. You can swim in the air. You can conquer the whole world. But understanding the movement of our mind is the most difficult task in all these endeavors. You might have thought that the work you want to do, your mind often works against it. If you want to quit a habit, like smoking, and you make a firm resolution to yourself, yet if you indulge in any addiction, after a short time, your mind brings you back to that same smock. These situations are not limited to just smoking and studying. In all our lives, there are many such habits that we want to quit, but even with the desire, we find it difficult to abandon them. However, if we make an effort to become observers of our own minds, we can change this. If we become witnesses to it, we can grasp the workings of our mind. Once we have a hold on the workings of our mind, we can then give up any habit. Or its fullness can come to us, such as waking up early in the morning or any other task that seems challenging. The fundamental point is that our mind is the driving force behind everything, and by ignoring it, we continue to act blindly. Later, we have no choice but to regret, as there is no alternative left for us. You can indeed grasp, know, and observe the workings of your mind and then make changes in your habits. But before we delve into that, I want to say something to you. If you don't have time right now, you can save this video for later, because if you don't watch the story until the end, you won't gain complete knowledge. God Buddha also says that incomplete knowledge is the most harmful. Today, I am going to share some insights in the story. Pay close attention to all these points and make an effort to understand them. Whatever you are going to learn today holds the power to transform your life. Let me take you back to a time when God Buddha was imparting teachings in a village. In that village, there was a man. Man was a talkative man who always spoke without any reason, even when there was no need to speak. Despite that, he kept talking. As a result, people would often make fun of his words, putting his joyful talks in a humorous light. Some people didn't bother listening to him and would just leave. Anyway, the things he said didn't seem very important, which led to many thoughts in his mind. He couldn't do any work properly because of these thoughts. As a result, he was becoming poorer and weaker day by day. But that wasn't the whole story. Man, despite being foolish, was a very intelligent boy. However, his habit of talking too much made people perceive him as a simpleton. People started keeping a distance from him. Now, because of his excessive talking, people started to distance themselves from him. Anyone who spoke to him once didn't want to talk to him again. He, affected by this thinking, believed that he could talk to anyone once. The person doesn't like to talk to me again. He is flooded with many questions in his mind, wondering why that person doesn't like to talk to him again. Now, he thinks, who will answer all my questions? That remained a question for him. One day, a friend comes to him and asks about his well-being. He asks his friend, "Why are you so happy? You seem very happy, what's the matter?" His friend replies, "I have found answers to all my questions." Upon hearing this, he is overjoyed and asks his friend, "Whose answers did you get? Will I also get answers to my many questions?" His friend replies, "Why not? God Buddha will answer all your questions." Upon hearing this, he becomes very happy. To ask his question, he goes to God Buddha. For some reason, Buddha arrives late at the gathering. In the meantime, he tries to talk to Buddha's disciples in the assembly. However, no disciple talks to him. All the disciples are deeply absorbed in meditation. Seeing this, Anand starts to leave the assembly, thinking that it's high time to go. Questioning Buddha, Buddha asks, "Where you going?" He replies, "I am leaving." He's seen leaving. He is asked by Buddha why you came. He says he has some questions. Buddha smiles and says, "Ask, what are your questions?" He tells Buddha all his questions. After listening, Buddha says, "I have one condition for answering all your questions, and I don't think you can fulfill it." Hearing this, he says, "Please tell me, I will try my best." Buddha replies, "My condition for answering your questions is something you may find difficult to fulfill." Hearing this, he says, "I will do whatever it takes, even if I have to give my life." Buddha is pleased and says, "All right, my bet is that you will remain silent for a year. And I also promise you that I will provide answers to all your questions." He remained silent for a while and then said, "All right. I will maintain silence for 1 year starting from today." Due to silent influence, he couldn't speak even if he wanted to. He tried not to think much and focused on his work. In a few days, he began to experience a transformation due to his commitment. His mind started to become calm, and gradually, all his questions ceased. In this way, a year passed, and he became completely peaceful and content. When the year was over, Buddha told him, "I asked you to observe silence for a year. Today, 1 year is complete, and now you can ask me whatever you want." Upon hearing this, he, content and happy, said, "Today, I have no questions to ask you." Buddha responded, "When you came here, your mind was restless. When a person is not at peace, questions arise continuously. It becomes a cycle. Our minds have 2 states, one where questions arise and the other where answers exist. Due to your commitment, your mind reached the 2nd state, where questions ceased to exist." He continued, "In our lives filled with hustle and bustle, our minds are also surrounded by various thoughts and questions." On that day, Anand went to Buddha. On that day, his mind was in the 1st state, where numerous questions and thoughts kept arising. Similarly, in today's fast-paced life, our minds are also surrounded by various thoughts and questions. After he said absolutely, our observation is quite profound. The idea that only 10% of our thoughts are relevant to our actions, while the remaining 90% are often distractions or unrelated musings, is a thought-provoking perspective. It highlights the importance of being mindful and understanding our thoughts to discern what truly matters for our actions. This aligns with the wisdom of Buddha, emphasizing the value of silence to better comprehend the thoughts within and distinguish between what is right and wrong for oneself. Thank you for watching this insightful message. Don't forget to subscribe. It encourages the importance of making decisions, focusing on relevant thoughts, and simplifying one's habits to achieve goals effectively. The idea that less talk and fewer unnecessary thoughts can lead to increased value and productivity is a valuable lesson. Until next time, stay inspired, stay motivated, and keep striving for your dreams. Wishing you a life filled with purpose and success.